Hello everyone, I'm Ricardo, and today I have the privilege of conversing with the force of nature, someone I've known for, 5 years or even more years, I think 6 or 7 years, and who I'm really deeply admire. And this is Adina Popescu. Adina is a philosopher, a VR and AI pioneer, and she's really a visionary who has advised titans like McKinsey, like Apple, and now she is the driving force behind Ærth, building an explainable environmental AI of our planet. Adina, it's always a pleasure. Welcome.
Hi, Ricardo. Thank you for having me.
You have been on such an extraordinary journey, to be honest. So from your early days in VR and AI and AR, so to now leading Ærth. Can you share with us the pivotal moments or experiences that led you to where you are today?
Sure. I think everybody who eventually has started out with playing around with virtual reality. And for me, that was very early. That was 2013. I think in 2014, I have advised companies on how to implement and work with VR, AR, and storytelling. But I think everybody who's embarked on this journey eventually had this moment when they felt, hey, let's just create a virtual simulation of this planet. And that's not far from what, of course, Google Earth is and what has developed, especially with great applications also in Google Earth VR. I kind of moved away from this medium, first of all, from VR out of many reasons. But secondly, I think you really very fast hit the limits of what it is to show the planet. Because what is it that we're showing? Are we just showing something of, this is how the planet looks above. This is where you can see the clouds. This is where you can zoom in and see territory. However, what is really lacking is knowledge of what it means to look at a territory. What does it mean to look at an environment? Is the environment healthy? How can you regenerate this environment? How can you actually have more complex information than just images of what this planet actually is as an intelligence? And I think I realized very fast that this is what is lacking, which pushed me onto the incredible journey that I encountered with Ærth, building Ærth.
But perhaps for those in the audience who never heard about Ærth, and they're hearing for the first time, so can you paint us a picture of what explainable environmental AI is? So that's just another AI that no one have probably heard like me before, but explain it to me, please.
Of course. So AI is very young still, right? It's a very new tool. I mean, it's not that new of a tool, to be honest. Machine learning has been around for quite a while, but now we're really understanding the capabilities. And we're also accelerating immensely in this field. And that, of course, shows us also the limitations and problems that we're facing, or challenges, I should say, that we're facing now. So I think Great Britain and the European Union have now mandated very strongly, or at least they're having conversations around making AI explainable or interpretable. What does that mean? That means that as for now, because of the business models that we have that funnily enough are not changing, right? So technology is changing, but business models are not changing. That creates a tension, right? Because an AI is typically trained on other people's data. Mm-hmm. That's how it is, right? AI works much more like a mycelium, like a fungal network of knowledge, where basically we start losing oversight where all this knowledge is coming from, where all the data is being pulled from in order to feed the learning models so that it can learn more and more and more, right? And to make more and more connections. However, business models are still very simple. We're not really innovating in business models, and that is really what we should do first. We should innovate on our business models, right? Business models are still the same. Sell an output, sell an asset, right? What is the asset of an AI? Is you either allow for other people to use it, so you pay a subscription, or you sell licensing rights. I mean, there's a lot to do with that, the ways to monetize AI. However, all of these business models have one in common. They basically force you to create a black box where you can just sell the output of the AI. If you open the AI, if you make it open source, if you make it transparent where the data sets are coming from, how it has been analyzed and interpreted, anybody could theoretically copy it, right? At the same time, we're seeing more and more the limits of AI, which is when, you know, that we actually, what we call biased in AI, you know, like how do we actually know that the inputs that have been going into the AI are actually also allowing for you know, true outputs.
Yeah. There's one thing, if I may interrupt you, because there was one thing that you were mentioning about all the different sources, bring them together. And as someone who's working with businesses, so with corporates and companies like so bigger companies, they already struggle with all the fragmentation of their data. So if I then think of sources for the world's data, this must be super fragmented, right? So how do you deal with this?
So here's the challenge, just to finish this thought. The challenge is, how do you monetize around something, especially when it comes to environment and nature? How do you monetize in a way that at the same time allows you to build an AI that is ethical and non-biased, right? So that's very important, because now we're dealing with real impact, right? It doesn't matter if it's a company or if it's the planet. Ultimately, we have just since the 50s, or I don't know when we really started, we started gathering you know, data, storing data, and every country, every nation state has started, or every, you know, like company even has started storing data in their own standards, in their own formats. So that's a real problem now when we're facing AI, right? In terms of Earth, absolutely, there's so many national environmental institutes from Gambia to Ghana to Kenya. We have so much observation about on our planet going on. However, this data is extremely fragmented. It varies in quality massively, and it is not really adaptable. However, that is what we would need. You know, we're starting with soil and regeneration of soil, because we believe that this is maybe one of, I mean, everything is crucial, to be honest, but it feels right to start with soil regeneration. And we're starting with a small MVP. We're starting with something extremely specific in order to demonstrate the tool set that it needs to basically from them move ahead.
I think we can all say you put a very strong focus on humanity, and that's also something why I love to have you in the collective Interessantes. As you know, we also emphasize fiercely human business transformation, so we have also this human touch or this human element in our vision. How do you see Ærth's vision aligning with our collective's goals, and has being part of this collective influenced you or your work perhaps in any way?
Absolutely. I think what you said, you know, on one hand, you know, businesses want to make business, right? That's how it is. At the same time, we are facing challenges collectively on this planet, and we really need to understand how to transform the gap between our more extractive practices that are keeping businesses afloat, but are also keeping, of course, economies afloat, and at the same time the finite nature of our resources. And also, I think on a next level, what if we would actually understand this incredible intelligence of this planet that we're living on? And what if we could transform businesses and organizations in a way that they work with the intelligence of this planet and not against it?
Is there anything that you can share with us about your roadmap, or what you are going, or what your plans are for Ærth in the upcoming 12 months, for example?
Interestingly enough, what we're focusing on is innovating on the business model level, because this is really very important to us, because we find ourselves in a pickle, you know, like everyone else who's working with AI. Theoretically, AI should be held in a foundation. It is a public good. It is trained on humanity's data. It is a public good. At the same time, investment always wants returns. How do you marry ethical, open AI with actual impact? And secondly, and I think that's very important, is how do you actually keep training your AI and making the people who are actually giving you their data a stakeholder in the system, rather than keeping the value to yourself and your 5 investors and then reselling, right?
So I'm always wondering, if you are at the edge of such a technology, how do you how do you plan then also to make sure that your solutions remain relevant and effective? Is this about people? Is this about, I don't know what it is. I'm just wondering, what is your advice to someone who would like also to work in this area to remain relevant?
Solve a problem for people. Don't solve a problem for investors.
Okay.
And that sounds very harsh, but it's true. Most startups that I'm seeing, especially when I'm in San Francisco, they're all a clone of each other. And the reason is because once we have understood what best practices are and what we can pitch, people replicate each other. Everybody downloads the deck from, I mean, everybody's been there, right? Everybody has once looked at the deck of Uber or Airbnb and has basically thought, oh, how can I build my business model or my pitch around this? We are replicating each other, and therefore we actually stopped innovating, right?
Good point,
and there will be other countries that we right now don't consider to be the global north that will be ahead of us, because they are actually innovating towards solving solutions that they are challenges that they are having. How do we optimize for actual solutions? If we keep optimizing for new businesses.
What were the most rewarding moments so far for you on this journey, for you personally?
Right, so our capacity to learn, to constantly put ourselves into contexts that we feel uncomfortable in, and that we can find comfort in them after a while, right? And that we expand our worldview constantly. It's just so mind-blowing to me, and I feel so grateful that I've somehow fallen into this mission, and it allowed me to grow personally so much. I'm meeting the most exciting people around the planet. One day I'm having a call with an indigenous tribes leader in Brazil, and the next day I'm speaking to the director of the International Space Consortium at AROS, the Australian space station, right? So it's wild, and I'm grateful for the incredible support of humans who have come in and have put in their work, their time, their brain, their assets.
Very much, Adina. It's been truly inspiring to hear your story again today. Some of us for the first time, and I can't hear it often enough. So I would say that what you are doing at the moment with Ærth it's not just a project, it's really a vision for a more harmonious and also sustainable future of us all. And I'm so proud that you are part of our collective, and I'm also excited to see where this journey is taking you, and of course, and all of us. So to everyone listening, I would say let's take a leaf out of Adina's story and remember that the power to shape our world lies always within us, as she was saying. And once again, thank you, Adina. If people would like to reach out to you, what's the best way?
Either via LinkedIn or via Interessantes.
Okay, cool, nice. Thank you very much. Have a nice afternoon.
Thank you, you too. Bye-bye.